today we are going to be starting some of those seeds that I showed you a few weeks back in a previous video. I'll link that video up here. I have here just a few things. So I have this organic, natural organic seed starting mix. I just got it at Walmart. I think it was like $5. I have just a planter here. It does not have any holes in it, and that's important, and I'll tell you in a minute. I just have some water, my seeds, of course, my cells, and then my boot trays. So we are gonna get started. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna fill this up with the soil, and let's see here. I'm gonna try and show you guys all this, but it's kind of hard. Plus my big old belly's in the way, so. All right. So I got soil in here. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the water in here just to moisten the soil, because if you've ever planted seeds before, you know that this soil is pretty dry. And then if you put the seeds in when the soil is dry and you go to water it, it just mashes that down, and it's really hard for that seed to push through all of that soil. So I am just gonna get this pretty moist, and I just use my hands. You can put gloves on if that's your jam, but I don't mind getting a little dirty. So it's still really dry. Put the rest of this in here. Mix it all up. And you want it to be like pretty wet. So this is just the top. You can see that that's pretty wet. That's how I want the whole thing to be. So it's getting there. If you're new and you've never planted seed before, that soil just, it'll compact and it'll have like this much in it when you go to plant or after you've planted your seed, and then it's kind of heavy on top, and really the bottom of the soil doesn't get as wet as the rest of it. So it's just harder for that seed to get some moisture. But this is looking pretty good, and I will show you. So when I clump it in my hand, there's moisture right in there, and you can see it sticks together a little bit. It doesn't have to be soaking wet, but just wet enough. So what I'm gonna do is I'll just show you guys with this little one here, and then I'll point the camera down so you can actually see. I'm gonna start these new Nature's Edge seeds, and there are a few vegetables that I have to start this year. So we are going to do peppers. So we'll start peppers. Mama loves some peas, so we're gonna do some peas. Cucumbers for sure. Tomatoes, we're gonna get those going. Jalapeno peppers for sure. I make jalapeno jelly. I also made a recipe. I think I put it on YouTube. If I did, I'll link it below, but definitely gonna do those. Beets, my husband's on this huge beet kick, so we're definitely gonna start some of these. More tomatoes we're starting, more beans, and then more peppers. So right now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different varieties of peppers, tomatoes, and peas, and a couple beets that we're gonna start. So first I'm gonna start with my tomatoes. So I just have the little container here. I'm gonna go ahead and put soil in. Looks just like this. You can see that. I also have these little sticks that you can use just to like poke down in, just to get your seed pushed down into the soil a little bit. They're just like, I think they're from, maybe the dollar store, who knows. Cherry tomatoes. So when you open the pack of cherry tomatoes, the seeds are tiny. I don't know if you can see them in there. Tiny, tiny, tiny. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pour out a couple in my hand. And literally this is what we're working with. So then I just put them slightly down in. They don't need to go too far down in. And then I just pack it right over top. And you can see I'm only going down a tiny bit. I don't want to push the seed too far down because then it's going to take it longer for it to come up to the soil to get the sun that it needs to grow. As you can see, this process is going to go pretty quick for me. I'm not planting thousands of seeds. I've done that before, and I think I said this in my last video too. It just kind of goes to waste. Either have a bunch of plants that I don't use, or I put them in the ground and I don't use the vegetables from them. So I really just want to do things I'm actually going to use, and we're going to enjoy, and we're going to preserve. And cherry tomatoes is one of those things, like I've frozen them before, and they're fine, but it's not my favorite. I'd rather grow cucumbers, to be honest. I do want to make sure that I label these before I forget. Large. So then I will just put my label like right there. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but it is April and I'm just now starting my seeds, and that is because I live in Erie, Pennsylvania, which is, I live like right on the border of grow zone 6A and 5B. And our last estimated frost is middle of May. Sometimes it snows in May. If you're from around here, you know what I'm talking about. Pretty much everyone that I follow that does gardening has already started their seed probably a month ago. And it takes a lot for me to not want to do that, because even this is kind of early, I'm not gonna lie. Like for us, starting seeds is such a gamble because we are just where we live. Like it was snowing this morning. So it's kind of hit or miss. But the good thing about this is like a lot of these, like these tomatoes and peppers and stuff, like I can just keep them inside or whatever for a while. It's not a huge deal. This year, I'm planning on letting these guys mature and grow as much as I can inside, and then I will put them out on my deck if I need to. I'm not gonna rush it. That's what I say now. And then you know what's gonna happen is May 17th is gonna come and I'm gonna be like, let's get this garden in the ground, and just you guys hold me to it. Tell me that I'm not allowed to do that. I love looking at the seeds. I just think they're interesting. These beet seeds, they are like textured, and it always amazes me that these like little seeds will start your plants. Bull's blood beets. It's like a little bit of therapy for me to just sit here and do this, so it's worth it. If you guys have started your seeds, or you're thinking about it, or if you've never had a garden before or never started anything from seed, leave a comment letting me know what's holding you back. Like why haven't you started your seeds, or why haven't you tried from seeds? Is there something that you find too challenging, or is it just easier to go to a local garden center? Because either way, I totally get it. Like we've done both, and it's honestly, it's nice to sometimes just go pick up your plants and then put them in. I know putting these tiny little seeds into these cell trays is definitely tedious work. Is absolutely rewarding though when you see these little plants start to poke through the soil and you're like, oh my goodness, look at that. I grew that. I freaking grew that. It's so rewarding. So I have some other seeds that I'm going to start. I just wanted to show you guys how I started them, what I was starting, and I definitely think the easy wins for a garden, if this is your first time starting a garden and you want to try starting from seeds, the easy wins are going to be cucumbers and tomatoes. Hands down for me, where I live, I can grow tomatoes, no problem. I always have an abundance of tomatoes. Cucumbers, no problem. Also zucchini, no problem. Peppers, we live in a pretty cool climate and peppers love the heat. So for us, it's kind of hit or miss. I know some people around here grow peppers out their ears, but I always have trouble, and lettuce, sometimes it can be a little finicky too. But definitely tomatoes, cucumbers, zucchini, those are going to be your easy wins if you're in the area I'm in. So I hope you guys enjoyed learning a little bit about planting seeds. I hope this encourages you a little bit to start your seeds if you're going to plant a garden this year. And I will see you again next week. Thanks guys for hanging out with me. Bye.